間の暗闇に
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Today I will be talking about Spider-Man, and this is the Miles Morales part of the story, I guess. I don't know. So basically what happens is regular-ass Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and Miles Morales are just basically kind of hanging out until Peter decides, you know what, Miles, you got this. I'm gonna go take a vacation. Bye, and leaves. You with your dumb ass alone. And basically, Miles has to be Spider-Man for like about a week without Peter, helping him out. And a whole bunch of stuff goes wrong. And basically, evil corporations, businessmen, friggin' rhinos running around doing whatever the hell. And it's basically a big ass mess. But it all ends with a happy ending, and that's all that really matters. So now let me begin talking about the gameplay and all that. And I will start with the good stuff and then end with the bad because that's the way I like to do things around here. So let's begin with the visuals because they are probably just as good, or actually no, they are better than Spider-Man on PS4 because this is the PS5 baby and everything got a little glamorous AF. So yeah, visuals as expected are, pretty to look at because, it's Insomniac and that's basically what they do. But what I gotta praise more than the visuals is probably the sound design and the music because they're very like small cues, like when you stop and stuff, where you hear like, it's kind of difficult to explain, but it sounds good. Let's just go with that. The music, on the other hand, I actually really liked because they incorporated a lot of like hip hop into the soundtrack, and it's not just generic ass do music like in most games now these days. Swinging is just as fun as ever, gotta say. Although Miles does swing a little bit differently from Peter because he's a different character and he's a newer character, so he's more of a greenhorn, so he's not as used to it as Peter. So there is a slight difference. Combat, mostly the same. However, Miles can turn freaking invisible and use electricity. So that's pretty badass, I'm not gonna lie. Freaking Miles can go freaking Super Saiyan and punch a dude into the stratosphere. But yeah, gotta say, it is pretty fun. And swinging around New York is basically still the same. It is really fun. The only real difference is the fact that it is now snowing instead of being all sunshine and rainbows. And that's basically it. You do spend a lot more time in Harlem, I gotta say. But that's because that's where Miles is from. And there's this whole like underlying theme going on that Harlem is losing its identity because the big ass corporation with a dumbass name is coming in and kind of taking over the buildings and destroying the whole town essentially to build up its own, corporations and stuff like that. And that's a major theme in the game. And Miles has to deal with it, and then there's his activist mom trying to prevent all this. It's a whole gosh of things. What I also liked is the fact that Miles interacts with New Yorkers a lot of the time. And at first, people don't trust, freaking Miles because, they're used to freaking Spider-Man just coming in and, saving the day and stuff. Because, now there's just like some random ass kid, coming in and saving the ass. And people in New York are pretty racist because they're just like, yo, I want a regular Spider-Man, not black Spider-Man. It's a whole thing. But, the racist thing is a joke, by the way. Don't get riled up. And yeah, it is pretty fun just to do like some side quests like for people and stuff like that. But also, one more thing before I forget. You can switch between 30 FPS and 60 FPS. 30 FPS is more like cinematic mode. It looks beautiful. But if you really want to have some like high performance stuff, just go with 60 FPS. That's what I would recommend. It depends what you're looking for, honestly. And now we could go back to the stuff that I did not like as much. Let us begin with Peter Parker. He's not in here for very long, which is good, because they changed his face, and it is ugly, like ugly as hell. I don't know what they were thinking, but like, damn, like he was perfect. Just leave him the way he was back in Spider-Man PS4. Do not change his stupid face. Put it back. Mans looks like Tobey Maguire. Like he looks like if you put all three Spider-Mans together at the same time, and that's just freaky looking to me. I don't like it. Just put him back the way he was. Also, the villains in the game are pretty weak. I'm not gonna lie. There's nobody really that iconic except for the Rhino, because it's the freaking Rhino. But other than that, you have to fight against this like businessman and the whole corporation thing, and it's just, I don't know. I was looking for more of a like physical thing, but it's mostly like not that. I don't know. There are still villains to fight, don't get me wrong, but it's just nobody really that iconic, if you catch my drift. Also, for some reason, there are a buttload of like glitches. I don't know if it was my game or console or what, but glitches be there galore, and that's not a good thing. Y'all guys gotta fix it. You know, put some DLC, like fix some bugs or something. Also, I gotta say that this game is really just more of the same. It's nothing really that different or significant. It's basically an expansion pack, and that's really it. All they did was just put like a snow filter on the game, and it's basically the exact same thing. And that's kind of, I don't know, I wanted more substance to it. Also, the game is about maybe a third of the length of Spider-Man PS4. However, that would have been fine. However, they decided to sell this game for $50 for half a game. That is so pricey AF. If you, so yeah, I mean, it's all up to you, but like $50 is a very steep price for an expansion pack. Yeah, but that's just me, you know. Don't get me wrong, game is fun to play. It is beautiful. Sound design is mwah. But it is hella expensive. And if you don't got the monies, then you don't got the monies. And that's just it. I mean, if they would have dropped it to like $30, then, you know, perfect. Just sell it in print. I got no problems. However, you know, it is hella expensive. So if you love Spider-Man, I would say get it in a heartbeat. But, I mean, it is $50. So you gotta manage it. So, I mean, it's honestly up to you. It is a pretty fun game, but you know, it does have its own problems, plus the glitches, and I mean, plus the story is not exactly the greatest. I do love Miles as a protagonist, but he can only carry it just so far, and the side characters of villains are really weak in this game. So I mean, if the story doesn't grab you, then I really don't see really the point of playing it. And honestly, just it's kind of meh, the whole thing. I would say get it if you really love Spider-Man. But if you don't love Spider-Man, then it's kind of like, yeah, it's fun to play, it's fun combat, but story is kind of bland as hell. Characters are kind of bland. It's all kind of a mid-tier thing. I really think it all depends on if you like Miles as a protagonist, because honestly, he's not as good as Peter to me. But honestly, I don't think he's that bad. But honestly, it all depends on whether you like him or not. I mean, like I said before, if you love Spider-Man, get it in a heartbeat. You'll probably love it. If you don't, I mean, you're not missing much, to be honest. So, I mean, if you like Spider-Man, buy it. Don't buy it. Who cares? I'm not your dad. Do whatever you want. Bye.